Michelob Ultra is for, it would be for cycling. You got to go there. Bring me in. Bring Sally up. What is up, everyone? I'm Galoob. He's Tommy. It's 3rd and 48. We are back yet again. We are this much closer to football season.
We're in the midst of training camp right now.
Training camp started. Full go, full send on training camp. I just was at training camp Saturday in Spartanburg for the Carolina Panthers training camp. I will say one huge takeaway that I'm sure everyone wants to know. Andy Dalton looks better than Bryce Young, Matt Corral, and Jake Luton. Big surprise, seasoned veteran. Bryce Young is missing on a lot of throws. I know he's a rookie, but you're the one that says no excuses for rookies.
I never want to see Andy Dalton throw a football again for the rest of my adult life.
Don't take that the wrong way.
Ever.
I'm not saying Andy Dalton should start. I'm just saying he looks better and more polished than every other quarterback in camp.
I don't know if they've already came out and said Bryce Young is the starter. Bryce Young is the immediate number one. Get it out of the way if they haven't. No more Red Rocket.
You know what the thing is?
I don't care about Matt Corral. Don't want to see him.
Why? He was hurt all year last year.
Don't care.
You don't know what he is.
You hate running quarterbacks. Matt Corral was a running quarterback in college.
I'm just saying you don't know what he is. I don't understand why you hate him. That's neither here nor there. The Panthers, besides the quarterback position, are a pretty loaded team. Their defense is fantastic. Brian Burns looks outstanding. Horn and Chin are healthy.
Defense should be top 5.
Should be outstanding. They have 9 receivers that you would know the names of 7 of them. They're going to have to cut some pretty good receivers. And also another weird thing, I know they've got Hubbard and Miles Sanders out of the backfield. Laviska Shenault was taking carries. He was taking handoffs out of the backfield.
Also, Brian Burns is probably about to break the bank with probably a record-setting extension for a defensive pass rusher.
Yeah. Well, they'll have quarterback money to spread out for the next few years, with, especially if they keep Coral on, whatever money he's on. Bryce Young is going to be cheap for the next 3 to 4 years.
Yep.
So they've got money to blow, I guess is what we're saying. What'd you do this weekend?
I played 3 rounds of golf in the last 9 days. It was beautiful.
Oh my God, that sounds exhausting.
There's one thing's cooler than golfing, but golfing is the best. It's just the best. It's the best thing ever invented. I'm addicted to golf.
Golf is the best thing ever invented. You heard it here first.
Ever
in life.
I'm talking to a guy that's a member of 2 country clubs. I just love golf.
Whatever.
Like if you have a hole in your backyard, I'll come to your house.
Whatever Scottish guy invented this sport. Do you know the name? Like I feel like we know the name of people who invented basketball, baseball, and football. What's the name of the guy that invented golf?
Couldn't tell you.
You don't know?
Couldn't tell you.
Big good trivia question.
The sucky part is like all the majors are done. So like golf doesn't matter until like they go to Eastlake for Atlanta for the tour championship. So like that's the depressing part of like real golf. So I can just play golf now because I don't have to watch it on TV. Ryder Cup's coming up. That's a huge deal.
Totally.
I care about that.
Yeah, I watch a lot of golf on TV.
America versus Europe is sick.
Watching golf on TV is the equivalent of watching NASCAR on TV.
And that's how I feel about watching like the Rockies play the Padres on a Sunday at 1.
I can get a good nap in during these things. So MLB is sleepy time for you. Golf sleepy time for me. Is NASCAR relevant anymore?
I was listening to Cal Larson talk the other day, and they were like, who's your favorite driver of all time? Cal Larson, I would say he's the most talented driver there is right now.
Very popular, too, since his incident. We'll just call it that. But he's gained popularity pretty quickly.
They were like, who are your favorite drivers right now? And he was like, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon.
No number 3?
No. Like ever, right? Yeah.
I'm just saying, like that's kind of surprising.
Right. But they were because the question was, who are your favorite drivers right now? And he couldn't name anyone right now. Like
he can't name guys.
Like he could name them. He just said like what I got from it is like they're irrelevant because like everyone in NASCAR right now is irrelevant. Kevin Harvick's the biggest deal there is, and he's on his last year. After he leaves, like who cares about anybody in NASCAR?
Harvick's about to be out, and I'm a Harvick fan ever since Carl Edwards left. I'd rather go to the DMV than watch golf. I agree with you. I understand.
Damn, that's rough.
But see, I can watch, like a lot of people can't watch just a regular season baseball game between 2 teams they don't care about. I can legit sit down and watch one.
Would you rather watch baseball than golf?
I don't have a lot of time to do such a thing. But when I do have time, I'll just throw on. I've got the package. I bought the pack. I can watch all of them.
He can afford MLB package.
I can afford MLB package.
$100 a year. You get all of them.
So once in a while, I'll just throw on freaking even the A's just to see how bad they are. What a travesty the Oakland A's are this year. I'll throw that on if they're playing the Royals. That's two terrible teams, and I can sit there and watch that.
It's such a poor product, but I guess they're doing something well because MLB announced this yesterday. They had the highest attendance in the ballpark yesterday, like in like the last 50 years or something like that.
What? So for like the entire league?
For the one day yesterday, it was like the highest attended day in like the last 50 years of baseball. Cool. And they said it was like there was like 14 really good marquee matchups yesterday that drove that. And then obviously it's a weekend and summertime.
Well, they didn't have a regular customer with eyes on a game because I was busy.
I don't know.
I don't even know what like marquee games happen. I'm not going to lie.
I've always say cut the product down. 160 games is a joke. Cut it down to 80. Be right on par with basketball, hockey.
It's a grind. It's supposed to be a grind.
It makes it where no one cares.
That's not true. The ratings for this season in its entirety are fantastic.
It's the only reason you do that so the owner can get money.
Can you tell Molly to shut the hell up?
Sorry, my rescue is going a little nuts in the house.
Great. So where did you play your 3 rounds of golf this weekend? Was there anywhere exciting, or was it just local, like Muni type courses?
We got Golden Hills, local. Okay. We got Charlwood, the back-to-back early 2000s South Carolina public course of the year.
Right. They're not on that level, but I get it.
Then we got Governor's Run down in Lamar.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I don't even know what that is.
A local course.
Is it nice?
It's affordable. It's $30, and they give you really strong liquor. I go in there 7:00 in the morning. Let me get a double vodka Red Bull. Cheap,
it's affordable. It's $30, and they give you a lot of liquor.
The coolest thing ever: no tee times. You just walk right out.
That is hard to find now.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Well, this weekend, training camp was really the highlight of my weekend, and it was super cool. I won't say how or why we ended up on the field after training camp. Somebody might lose their job. As soon as training camp let out, players run all their sprints. They're taking their pads off. They let me and my kid walk right on the field, and my son walks directly up to Andy Dalton, asked him to sign his football, and it's like the interaction of being one-on-one with like multiple professional athletes while you're standing there is pretty cool. I can't imagine doing that when I was a kid. And I told him, I was like, dude, I'm telling you right now, most kids don't get to do this. So enjoy it while you're out here. Talk to everyone. So it was a good time. We had a great time. And like I said, Bryce Young looks rather sketchy throwing the football.
Did you get close enough to Bryce Young to compare your height to his height?
Yes. He's like the same freaking size. Honestly, if he was wearing street clothes, I feel like I could fight him and beat him up. Like that's what he looks like to me. If that makes sense. Now, granted, when I'm standing to guys that are defensive and offensive linemen, those guys could pick me up with one hand and carry me around like a freaking farmer's bucket. He could do farmer's carry with 2 of me.
When you said that, it reminded me of the TikToker Bradley Martin that said he could beat Devin Haney and Nate Diaz in a street fight because he weighs more than they do.
Those are fighters, though. Also, I listened to Bryce Young's interview. He's a very mild-mannered and nice fellow. Yes. Also goes along with my thoughts that I could beat him up.
I feel like Saban sends everybody into the league with a good head on their shoulders. Well,
he probably recruits those kind of guys too.
I think he transforms them into the people he wants them to be once they get to Bama.
Yeah. So size wise, that was one thing I noted. I was like, man, he's little. He's a little dude. He can throw. He moves around well in the pocket.
It's going to be an uphill battle.
I mean, imagine being new. Expectations are high. You're the number 1 overall pick. Brand new playbook that's probably super complicated.
Heisman Trophy winner.
You're, 3 days deep into training camp?
Right.
And you're running full speed.
They've already had OTAs, though. It's not his first rodeo.
But you're running full scrimmage now. Right. They're not tackling, but they're wrapping up. And you're running 11-on-11 football, and you're supposed to know the plays in and out already.
That's the hardest part of coming into the league, I feel, for a quarterback is the verbiage. Because, like, a simple play call could be, 20 words maybe.
Yeah, and you got to spit it out. You got to get ready, and you have to know where everyone is.
I mean, you're not just saying, like, like in Pee Wee football, you're saying, like, sweep right.
Right.
In the NFL, you got first you say what the receiver's doing, then you say what the linemen are doing, then you say what the running back's doing, then you do the actual play call.
Then you have an audible ready in case you see something.
What count it is.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You can always, like, the quarterbacks that come into the league that are unintelligent, like, it's pretty easy to tell, like, pretty quickly. So
yeah, I mean that's a lot, and I've heard multiple. Did you watch the Netflix show, the quarterbacks one?
I'm waiting to binge the whole thing.
Yeah,
I've seen pieces, but I want to binge it all. I
watched the first episode,
right?
And they were talking about how hard that is,
right?
And the transition and everything. And then, oddly enough, Marcus Mariota is one of them on there,
right?
And he's talking about the difference between what he came from and how a pro-style offense is run.
Right.
Now, granted, they tailored an offense to him last year. So it was probably a little bit easier. And I think he said that, if I remember correctly, like in relation to his playbook that he's running now in Atlanta, they built it around his Oregon skill set.
Right.
So.
And then he abandoned the team. Not his finest moment. Didn't expect that from him.
That's neither here nor there.
It was a weird quarterback selection for the first season. They went with Mahomes, the GOAT in the league right now. They went with Kirk Cousins, a Pro Bowler, and then they went with Mariota, who is a backup.
You don't think they did that on purpose? A fringe guy who's supposed to be starting this year, kind of have like all the variables. You can't just pick 3 stud quarterbacks. Their story is probably going to be the same. Head in the book, know everything, working out. Everything's like routine. And then you got these guys that are mid-range, like Kirk, who's got a family. He's got a bunch of kids. And you got Mariota, who's like, I don't even know if I'm really an athlete. I've got a relationship to deal with. I think he has a kid. I don't even know if I'm going to be a freaking starter in the NFL.
Mahomes and Kirk made sense to me because, like, Mahomes is like he's like the best quarterback. He's probably going to go down in history as the best quarterback ever when it's all said and done. And then you got Kirk, who's like everyone's dad, and like I think statistically he's super underrated, but like when it matters, he's super overrated. So like I don't know what to call
Cousins.
him. Yeah.
I love Kirk Cousins.
There's nothing about Mariota that says he deserves any sort of recognition at all. He's done literally nothing his entire career in the NFL.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I feel like those 3 guys probably made decent money on that. Full special, counts on views, I guess. Well, though Netflix, like, their money works a weird way, how they split their stuff up. So maybe not. Maybe it wasn't some ridiculous sum for signing up for this. I don't know.
Blake said Falcons sneaking in the playoffs. Any chance?
Ooh, I would believe more Panthers sneaking in the playoffs. I don't think the Falcons will.
We both got Saints winning that division.
100% Saints.
Saints winning that division.
I feel like that's easy money if there's a line on it. If you're just betting money line, Saints win division. I don't see any world in which Tampa or Atlanta is even a player, to be completely honest.
I feel like Atlanta's going to run a super gimmicky offense that you're really not going to know what they're doing. It's going to be hard to stop. I will say that. And they're probably going to lead the league in rushing. If I could like call something right now, they will probably lead the league in rushing. I'll give you that. And I do think also we had Jordan. Jordan said, do I actually believe Pat Mahomes is going to pass Tom Brady as the GOAT quarterback? I actually do think that. He might not get 7 rings, but statistically, I think he'll pass him in every single category by like a wide margin, other than Super Bowls. 7 Super Bowls is a joke, but we know 4 of those were like.
You're going to have the old Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate.
Yeah.
Mahomes is said and done. That's what's going to happen.
Right.
Which you did the same thing with Tom Brady and Joe Montana for the previous generation. So there's always going to be some kind of cycle, which I'm sure Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Wilt Chamberlain, those guys did that. Now we're on to Jordan and James, and then eventually it'll be James and somebody else. That's just how it works. It cycles, and the next generation thinks their GOAT is better than the last one.
I don't know exactly how many seasons Pat has played so far. I would say it's like 5.
He was drafted in 17.
So you got what, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 5 seasons?
I think it's 5.
Yeah. So I don't
even 2 for 5.
I don't even need to look. If you look at Pat Mahomes' first 5 seasons statistically, Brady's first 5 seasons statistically, I would say Mahomes is probably ahead of him in 99% of the categories by a mile.
I would say so, but how long does he have Andy Reid with him? Because that is pretty huge on the stats front, like the type of offense they run front.
I don't see Reid going anywhere as long as past the quarterback.
Well, he could easily
he could eat a cheeseburger and
I didn't mean that. I'm sorry, Andy Reid. I love you.
And I'm saying these things as a Raiders fan. So if these things that I'm saying come true, my life's going to suck for the next 15 years. But I 100% expect that.
I thought we already did the 15-year prison sentence for you already.
It's bad. Even if Mahomes, something happens to him, then I got maybe the next best quarterback in history right behind him with Herbert. So I'm losing every way I look. Oh, hopefully geez. Sean Payton's an epic disaster, or we're going to be looking up at everyone for the next, I don't know how long.
I honestly think Denver's going to be fine.
Denver's probably going to be really good if I had to guess.
Ouch. So we said training camps are in full swing. How about the running back debacle for the entire league? So not only did they hop on this conference call that Austin Eckler organized, as soon as they get on this conference call and want to present this united front of running backs, we're going to change things. Saquon Barkley immediately signs a 1-year deal for $11 million.
Super. I mean, at that point, that was literally the only option he has. He should thank God that the Giants offered him an extra $900,000.
I mean, I understand.
Because he wasn't going to sit out. That was never an option.
But all this complaining and this, putting on a front that we're going to change how things are done, and then, the day or two after, Saquon Barkley's like, all right, I'll sign a 1-year deal. Do you want long-term contracts? You're going to make that stand or you're not? Josh Jacobs says he's not coming to work.
I'm going to call him all out. And then it leaks that the Raiders offered Josh Jacobs $12 million a year. They didn't say how many years it was, how much guaranteed it was, but that would have immediately put him as the second, maybe highest paid running back in the league behind C-Mac, whose C-Mac's contract's not even real.
Right.
But he can catch 100 passes a year, so it kind of is.
Was Josh Jacobs also not wanting to play for a bad Raiders team this year?
I don't think that's the case at all. I think he really wants to be there. He just wants a ridiculous contract that it's never going to happen again.
He was on a flight home. He's not at camp right now.
Somebody put we can replace you. We can running backs are a dime a dozen, and Jacobs retweeted let me see him try or something like that. So we'll see.
I guess Zadir White's going to get the ball some.
I mean, if you know how Patriots front offices treat their running backs, I mean, you know what he's against. Josh McDaniels, OC for the Patriots. Dave Ziegler, our GM, was in the Patriots front office.
Right.
They don't pay backs. It's just.
But that's becoming it's not just that front office. It's everyone. Nobody pays backs. What do you got?
Pop said running backs aren't worth more than $500,000 a year. That's a little extreme.
That is extreme. Are any of these running backs justified in how they feel about the contracts, though? The contract situations where they're not getting guaranteed money? Because I feel like so often you pay a running back and that running back gets hurt. And the next man up comes in and does a very similar job to whatever the starter was doing. Very few instances is there a wide disparity in the performance of the running back that got injured. And injuries happen a lot more often to the guy in the backfield getting the ball at the time instead of the guy running down the field catching the ball.
A lot of comments coming in. How about them Cowboys? Joe Burrow might need to have his foot amputated. That's a joke.
Yes, he had a calf strain.
I mean, we've just seen so many examples in our life. The most recent one that comes to my mind is Kansas City wastes a first-round pick on a running back. Then they have a 7th-round pick running back starting for them in the Super Bowl.
Pacheco and Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah. You wasted a back end of the first round where you could have got a really, really good, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, tight end.
Well, that's the problem is that running backs in the NFL have become a commodity. They're disposable. And by commodity, you can sign one at the same price you can sign another one, and you're not getting much difference in the product you're purchasing. Jonathan Taylor requested a trade. Did you say tweeting about it?
Colts owner just comes out and just says the most weirdest shit I've ever heard. If I die tomorrow and Jonathan Taylor's out of the league, then who cares?
So you did see the tweet.
You're a weirdo.
And then Jonathan Taylor's agent is retweeting and tweeting, and it's this giant Twitter thing. So I guess Hearsay decided, you know what? Let's sit down and talk. Let's not do this Twitter battle, Twitter argument on the internet, discussion on the internet, whatever you want to call it. They have a meeting. As soon as Taylor leaves the meeting with Jim Irsay, he stands by his request of a trade. I wanted a trade. I told him I want to trade. Who is trading for you, bro? You sat out all last season. You're demanding a new contract. You were already hurt. Sure, you had one Pro Bowl season, but what does that get you in the long game?
What's wild about Jonathan Taylor is this dude has had 1 year. You've had 1 year of elite production. Other than that, you're like a fringe starting running back. That's it.
You're a commodity. You had one good year. You're a running back. Somebody else could do the same thing with you with the same exact offensive line. More often than not. Now, sometimes you get Trent Richardson, who likes to run into the asses of his offensive lineman because he can't see holes. But usually running backs are pretty good about running to where they're supposed to and finding a gap.
That's why starting offensive linemen are getting between $10 to $30 million a year right now. And running backs are out here looking for scraps. Now, I will say there is no place on earth where the average NFL kicker should be making more than the average NFL running back. That's not real, and I can't get on board with that.
I mean, yeah, well, but what are you going to do about it?
A guy that kicks the ball max
He's one guy.
5 times a game.
He's one guy.
Can't make more than a running back.
One position with one guy that decides a lot of games.
The running back's going to touch the ball minimum 300 times a year. The kicker's going to touch the ball max 50 times.
But you've got 3 to 4 backs on your roster. You only got one kicker. He's taking up the whole salary for one position that's allocated for one position. And a good kicker is hard to find.
Usually you're going to carry 4 backs. 2 through 4 should all be making in the couple hundred thousands. Mm-hmm. The starter should be making decent.
The minimum's like $750 maybe.
Depends on how many years you've been in the league.
Okay. Either way, the point is that getting a good kicker is hard. And if you have a good kicker, that's only one guy in one position, and he's probably not going to get hurt. He doesn't need a backup.
I kind of disagree because, like, even the worst kicker in the league is going to make like 75% of their kicks, 80% of their kicks.
But you can't compare that to guys like Robbie Gould or Justin Tucker.
I mean,
if you get one of those guys.
You just said the best kicker in history.
Okay, he's playing right now, and I'm sure he's making more than probably all of the running backs on the team.
He is, because their running back's about to hold out. I think Dobbins wants a new deal. And all based off of what? Missing an entire year, getting 900 yards in your best year?
Another guy that missed an entire season and wants to get paid. What do you got on the hotline bling?
Hello from Michigan. Hope all is well. What is going on? We got family in Flint. How are you?
Hey, Flint. This guy's family's from Flint.
Yeah.
I'll actually be in Toledo, Ohio. I'll be flying into Detroit soon. Got a meeting up there. Excited to go see the Tigers play the Cubs while I'm in town. Other running back news, Dalvin Cook goes to the Jets. Big deal, little deal, who cares?
I thought everyone was jacked up about Breece Hall.
Breece Hall's good. Breece Hall was also hurt last year. Another situation where you're going to have 2 backs. You're going to split the running back pie between these 2 guys.
Have we ever heard this sentence before?
Here's a sentence we haven't heard before.
How many balls are there?
There's 2.
Like in an NBA when they put these super teams together where there's 3 guys that average 20 points a game. It never works.
Right.
Like it's not gonna work. Like
what? Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook?
You got 2 backs. You got 2 receivers. I don't know who the tight end is. Does anyone care?
Tell you off the head,
I don't know.
I don't know.
It just seems like.
I mean, Rodgers is going to spread the ball out anyway.
Yeah.
How good is the Jets hype? Is that overdone?
Yeah, they got like 8 primetime games the first year with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Like I get it, people care. It's just like.
Cool story about Dalvin Cook going to the Jets. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I thought he wanted to go to Miami. I've been here in Miami for months.
I don't hate the move for Cook, although Miami would be. I don't know. They both would be a good move. I don't hate either way, but he's in New York, so Dalvin Cook goes to a sandwich shop
Right.
in New York. Over here's a guy talking about the Jets.
Sandwiches.
Getting a sandwich. I guess he doesn't have a girlfriend. Anyway, this guy's at the sandwich shop, and he's talking to somebody about the Jets, and Dalvin Cook asks him what he thought about a potential Dalvin Cook move. The guy doesn't realize he's talking to Dalvin Cook. He goes, man, I tell you what, if Dalvin Cook, if they sign him, that's a big move. That'll make them solidify him as Super Bowl contenders. And Dalvin Cook sitting there listening to this guy tell that to his face. Never says who he is. He just says, cool, man. Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Leaves.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Solid interaction. I bet that guy's like, oh, dude, that was me. I'm an idiot.
I did hear, I saw multiple people were tweeting out this weekend that Devontae Adams was going to ask for a trade to reunite with Rodgers on the Jets. Thank God he came out and shot that down and said, I want to retire a Raider. Because, I literally, close the doors on the stadium if that happened.
It's going to be another situation of, have you seen the meme that says Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets, the Packers give me no weapons? He recruits all the people that played with him on the Packers.
Oh, man.
Hey, I need Randall Cobb. Why don't we go ahead and see what Jordy Nelson's doing?
Oh, man.
Well, long story short, running backs are not getting paid more currently than they were pre-Austin Eckler emergency running back conference call meeting, Zoom call, whatever happened.
Somebody was like, it's super ironic that Austin Eckler is the dude that is trying to start a running back union. Because if you remember, Chargers give Melvin Gordon a big deal, and then Austin Eckler comes in and takes his job, proving the point that you shouldn't give running backs a big deal.
Yeah. It feels like it should be part of that Alanis Morissette song. Isn't it ironic?
I'm driving to the golf course this morning, listening to ESPN radio, and somebody throws out, you know what? Would the NFL be a better or worse product if we completely got rid of the running back position? And somebody would be like, what? Somebody said it would be more exciting.
Who are you going to hand the ball off to? You can't not hand the ball off. He's going to run jet sweeps?
No, you would have a guy like Deebo Samuel.
And he's just going to come take some handoffs?
When it's time to run the ball, he goes back there. When it's time to throw a ball, he goes out there.
You're just going to have athletes, basically.
I feel like college is already there, except for a couple guys that Alabama, Georgia, and LSU have. Wisconsin's always got a banger, but
to that point, back to training camp, just because I watched so much of it this weekend. The Carolina Panthers have Miles Sanders. They have Chuba Hubbard. Laviska Shenault's lining up in the backfield taking handoffs. Maybe it's the same type of deal. Maybe they want athletes. Maybe you're going to see more guys like Cordarrelle Patterson, or there was another one. The Bears had a wide receiver / running back, and so did the Steelers. They were running Jaylen Warren out of the backfield, and really he's a tight end. So I think you will see more hybrids as athletes become able to do more things and running backs are asked to catch more passes. Well, why not do it the other way around?
Peggy wanted your thoughts on I already know the answer to the question, but I'll ask it anyways. We both agree on this one. Should the Colts pay Jonathan Taylor?
Absolutely not.
0%. You give your money to guys like Quentin Nelson because they are the reason that Jonathan Taylor is Jonathan Taylor.
The biggest issue with Jonathan Taylor playing is he's either going to sit out, he's going to be grumpy, and you're not going to get any trade value out of him. 3 problems. He could sit out, he's going to play like shit because he's unhappy, and you're not going to get any trade value out of a running back.
It's already came out that they said that if they do trade him, they're looking for an early round pick. I take that as 1st through 3rd round.
Hearsay said I'm not trading him.
Cool.
Great. Good talk. I'm glad we had this conversation.
Matt Millen, who's been a scout forever, said
he did a really good job of drafting in Detroit.
There's a thing that he always went by. You draft a running back high, you dog the running back, you franchise tag them for 1 year, and then you let them walk. And then you repeat the process.
Isn't that the process that the running backs are bitching about?
I mean, like a guy that's taken in the first round, like who's a good example? Like Bijan Robinson, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he goes top 10. He's going to get minimum 25 to 30 million first deal. And then if he gets franchise tag once, that's going to be another 10 million. So that guy's going to make 35 to 45 million. Like, what are you complaining about?
I don't know. The biggest deal, I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Why are you complaining? The biggest deal is hungry, young running backs.
Right.
And running back, if you don't have that juice, if you're not running hard every play, you're just not it. And hungry running backs, young running backs that haven't got paid yet are the guys that run like that. They're the guys that run with I can't think of the word. With no concern for their own well-being. They run hard. Those are the guys that do that.
The only issue is you always have these outliers, these few
AP,
select guys in the
Derrick
league.
Henry and
Derrick Henry. Like, there's like, without Derrick Henry, the Titans are unwatchable.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, a guy like that, yes. And his contract wasn't even wild. He got like 4 years, 48 million. It was like 12 million a year. I think it was 4 for 50, so 12 and a half a year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's made it to the end of the contract because he's insane.
But obviously, guys like Derrick Henry, guys like Adrian Peterson, obviously they have a screw loose in their brain because even after they get paid, they're still running with no regard for their own safety. They still run like workhorse backs.
Dude, Adrian Peterson has not retired yet. He is 38 years old.
Didn't
and
he
he's
just get
still
knocked
on
out
the
in a
free agent
boxing match?
market.
Wasn't that
Yeah,
him?
I think he got KO'd.
Did he fight Bell?
Like, dude, what are
Who
you
fought Bell?
doing?
Was that him?
I don't remember. Probably. That does sound right.
Yeah.
Rudog said, I bet Dallas will have the number 1 defense. That wouldn't be a shocker to me.
I don't think they will, but I don't think that's super far-fetched, yeah.
I mean, anytime you've got 2 Pro Bowl or better pass rushers, like, your corners only got to cover for a few seconds. And even though people say statistically Trayvon Diggs had a down year last year, I actually think he had a better year than he did when he had double-digit picks. Great contract. They went ahead and got that out of the way.
I also think the NFC East is going to be the hardest division in the NFL this year.
Whoa. Don't agree with that.
We can talk about that.
Oh, I'm talking about you. What's your
76
prediction for the Jets? Do you think they make the playoffs? Let's start there.
That division is also going to be – it's the AFC East and the NFC East are probably going to be the 2 hardest divisions in the NFL. Granted, you've got Aaron Rodgers. You've got the Aaron Rodgers factor.
Uh-huh.
You have a very good defense. You were already, 7-10 last year? 7-10? Verge of a playoff, whatever the record was.
With
verge of a playoff.
Offense that amassed a massive 17 points per game.
With Mike White playing quarterback. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I could absolutely see the Jets making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I could absolutely see Aaron Rodgers falling off slightly this year and them being average.
I think he's going to go back to being a dog this year.
I think he's going to be fine.
I think he's going to be hungry this year. And he took the pay cut to make sure they could lock up a couple guys.
Which is weird because he refused to do that his entire tenure in Green Bay. Super weird.
I think he realizes the importance, the difference between what 1 Super Bowl and jumping to 2 Super Bowls will do for his legacy. So I think he wants to go out with 1, and then he'll be good to go.
I mean, I'm keeping an eye on it. From what I have seen from OTAs and training camp so far, Rodgers looks pretty good.
We had 2 people ask about the Bears. Are you expecting anything about anything from Justin Fields this year?
I expect him to be better than the Packers, and that's it. That's literally the only thing. I think they'll be 3rd place in that division, and I don't think it'll be close. I think the Packers will be at the bottom. I see a max of 6 wins for them.
Yeah, 6 wins. Okay. Who's that? So you got the Vikings repeating?
I would take the Vikings to win, and the Lions are obviously going to be competitive. I think the other 2 teams are going to be playing football, and that's it.
I see a scenario where the Lions win the division, and the Vikes have a couple missteps, and they just go full fire sale.
That would be crazy. But I do think those 2 are going to be top in the division.
Yeah. I don't expect much about the Bears. The Bears' offense is so hard to watch.
That's your biggest issue. I don't see a huge drop-off between – and they were playing half the year with Alexander Madison running the ball anyway. I don't see a huge drop-off in production from the backfield, from Dalvin Cook to Alexander Madison, and Justin Jefferson is still one of the best, probably top 3 receivers in the game, possibly the best.
Pat
and
Henry.
they just added a receiver. Who's the other receiver they just added?
Who are you talking about?
Jordan Addison?
For what team?
Minnesota.
Yeah. First round.
Yeah, and they added another toy for Kirk Cousins to throw to. And newsflash, Kirk Cousins is good.
And him and Kenny Pickett at Pittsburgh. Wowzer. And then he goes to USC. Him and Caleb Williams team up.
Yep.
Dude's had elite quarterbacks his whole college career. Pat Henry said the Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl the very first year that their head coach takes over.
I don't see that happening.
Going out on a limb.
I wouldn't say it's impossible, but I would put $0 on it. Madison's going to be hurt by week 5, says Russell. It's weird to predict injuries. You can't do that.
I don't think you're supposed to do that, Russ. That's like bad karma. That's like when one of your boys hits a drive off the tee box and you're like, that's gone. I hope it's out.
Jeez.
Degenerate Gambler says, don't sleep on Jordan Love. What are your expectations for Jordan Love?
I didn't like him in college. I watched him play at Utah. I don't like him.
He had one great season of college football.
But I'm like, okay. So did a lot of people that played in that division and that out west where they play that style of no defense football.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got it at the pro level. I'm not saying I like the guy. I'm not saying he doesn't have an incredible arm. I don't think he can succeed at this level. Speaking of injuries, Russell, this is a segue that doesn't have anything to do with what you just said. Jalen Ramsey's out till December. The Dolphins, in his place, signed Eli Apple, and Tyreek Hill immediately tweeted, "This will be fun." Because you remember Tyreek Hill and Eli Apple were kind of going at each other and bantering. Yeah. Now they're teammates. They're going to be matching up in practice. I look forward to seeing the results of that. It's going to be hilarious.
Jesus.
And everyone dogs Eli Apple. It's going to be fantastic. I'm a big fan of this. I don't know who in the media realm of Dolphins camp was like, you know what we should do? I know Jalen's out for a little while.
Correct.
This is a story here. Get this guy.
Out until December.
Yeah. That was the last I read now.
That is huge. No, I saw that.
Yeah.
Like you bring a guy in, you trade for him. I think they gave him a new deal, and then he's hurt. Now he's going to miss the first 4 months of the season maybe.
Yep.
And then when he comes back, he's not going to be like Jalen Ramsey for a while.
Yeah, that's tough.
I don't really see him contributing this year, which sucks because the Dolphins are right there if they can get a full season out of Tua.
Yep. Well, that's the big thing too. Now that you have Ramsey out, is Tua going to stay healthy? That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I know we already talked about it a little bit, but Joey Burrow is going to miss several weeks of training camp with a calf strain. Scary moment. Could have been much, much worse. No contact injury. Turns out it's just calf strain.
Oh, my God.
Scary moment for Bengals fans everywhere.
When people just go down when no one touches them, you always think ACL or Achilles. Luckily, it was neither one of those. Dude, wrap that thing in bubble wrap, put him on a couch, elevate it. Don't do anything until the second week of September.
Sleep in the hyperbaric chamber.
I would tell Burrow to not go outside of his house until the second week of September.
Ice heat, ice heat, ice heat.
Don't come to the facility. We don't need you. You can be an MVP candidate with doing nothing. I couldn't even imagine being a Bengals fan and watching that. Like,
I don't. You remember we received a text message immediately after it happened from Mr. Kaihui. I wouldn't get excited about that though. I don't like guys getting hurt. Speaking of training camps and fights, Travis Kelce keeps fighting his teammates in practice. 2 days in a row, he has swung at one of his teammates on the defensive side of the ball.
And the guy did nothing to him. He tried to pop the ball out after a catch.
Has Travis Kelce been eating testosterone? What's going on? He has a giant temper all of a sudden. He wants to fight guys.
You get one Bud Light sponsorship, and all of a sudden you start freaking out.
Calm down, Dylan. Whoa.
I mean, I guess I'll say it too. I already said it about Pat. I don't see a scenario where Travis Kelce probably doesn't go down as the best tight end in history.
I agree with you, but he should stop hitting his teammates. And he actually said via Twitter, I need to be a better leader and a better teammate. You can't apologize after doing it twice. Just stop it.
I will say, if I had to choose between my teammate being a dog or my teammate being a P word and just going to sit on the bench with his head down, I would take the guy that punches people.
My deal is I'd punch him back, though. That's the problem.
That's fine.
It'd be a skirmish.
I don't see why the guy walked away.
So check this out. I know I talked about the Panthers having too many receivers. Here's the ones that I know that you'll recognize their names. And who knows how many of these guys are going to make the final roster. Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault.
Hold on. Why is your dad firing shots at me? Can't treat Burrow like Garoppolo. Burrow is tougher. What did I do, Russ?
I don't know where that came from.
Let's give Garoppolo a chance. Let's see what the guy's got.
I guess Jimmy's soft.
He wins 75% of his games so far for his career. Let's see if he can continue that rate.
And he has beautiful hair. He's got beautiful hair. Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault Jr., Demir Bird, Terrence Marshall Jr., Jonathan Mingo, who's being compared to, I can't think of the name right now. It's supposed to be really good. And Shi Smith. That's 7 of them.
My response would be, when you were naming the guys, my brain was going number 2, number 3, number 3, borderline roster, number 3, number 2.
You don't have a guy.
That means nothing. That's like saying you got 3 quarterbacks.
I'm pretty sure DJ Chark's the number 1.
That's bad, if that's
Is
the
he?
case. I didn't understand this giving up DJ Moore.
Yeah.
DJ Moore was a bona fide number 1 wide receiver, a dog, and you just give him to the Bears, right?
Where he can do what? He can block for the running back on sweeps. Sorry.
I don't like that's cool.
Garoppolo always gets hurt. See Ty Detmer, not mad at Vegas. They should have drafted a QB.
Drafted who? Bryce Young's gone. Do you want Richardson, a project? Do you want Will Levis, who's not going to start? Do you want – who was the other guy that went in the first round? Like, they're trash. They're all trash.
Hendon Hooker?
I mean –
CJ Stroud was gone. Young was gone.
Bad.
Levis, Hooker.
If you want a guy, wait for next year. Caleb Williams is going to be the next guy. That's who you're waiting for.
He wants to tank. Also, the Panthers have 3 pretty good tight ends in Ian Thomas, Hayden Hurst, and Tommy Tremble. So they've got, Bryce has weapons at his disposal, too. This Carolina Panthers team could be surprising in the South, I guess was my point. Now, granted, somebody will have to step up and be a number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any of those guys have the ability to. I'm no scout. I saw one training camp live. But seeing something live is a lot different than seeing it on TV, as well you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say they're hyping. Fans are so dumb. I apologize to some of you that get excited about, connecting on post routes that are unguarded. But after Bryce Young spikes 2 curl routes into the dirt,
right,
overthrows somebody on a wheel route that's wide open, the entire stadium goes nuts for this little corner route where the cornerback was underneath and there was just a soft spot. I could have made that throw left-handed, but everyone screamed about it. They had an article about Bryce Young connecting with DJ Chark on the sidelines for this one time. Yeah, but what about the other 7 throws when he was 3 for 10 with 2 dump-offs and 1 post route? That's what we don't talk about, and that's what I'm talking about, getting your eyes on people and seeing them live, because you don't see that. It's like watching the 22, the coach cam, from up top where you can see everything. It's a lot different than the camera angles that they want you to see. You can see the ins and outs of the game. That's how I like to break it down. This is why fans remain in the dark about actual strategy, about actual guys coming out of the breaks, guys running off routes, guys running a guy off through a zone and a guy underneath. You don't see that type of stuff on the camera because the camera's on the ball showing you the action the whole time.
I don't even want to begin to judge anything a quarterback does until a real member of a real defense is allowed to chase him, tackle him, sack him, try to hurt him, throw him to the ground.
I agree with you. And there's no contact. Everyone's babying it. Nobody wants to get hurt, which is another thing that goes – I was almost there in my fans are stupid assessment. Running backs, right, when they run running plays in these 11-on-11 drills where they got shorts, they got shoulder pads, they're wrapping up.
Right.
But the running backs always run out every play.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll run through the line and somebody will pop them or something. And then they'll just spin off it or whatever and keep going because nobody tackled them.
Right.
And then the guy takes up off the sideline and everyone cheers. I'm like, He would have been tackled. This is not a real run. You're a moron.
It's the exact same thing as the NFL Combine.
Yeah.
Or they're like, oh, my God, Anthony Richardson did a 360 and threw it 70 yards in the air and hit a guy in stride.
Exactly. Who cares?
I'm like, yeah, he's probably going to do that on Monday Night Football.
100%. It's okay. That's why we're here, to let you know that you're dumb about some things.
But I will say,
I mean that respectively.
I've been saying it for 20 years. I'd much rather watch rookie Anthony Richardson than 12th year veteran Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton had a respectable year in the time he did get to start in New Orleans last year.
He also had a great career in Cincinnati. Took him to the playoffs multiple times. It was so exciting to watch.
He is an above-average quarterback still.
Surprisingly, he never won a game in all the times they went to the playoffs. I don't know why.
Any other training camp news from you?
Training camp. Around the league, real quick. What do we got going on around the league? It's been slim pickings.
I hit on all the important stuff that I noticed or heard about or read about.
The biggest thing I've seen that affects me personally is probably the second best player on the Kansas City Chiefs, Chris Jones, saying he's not showing up unless he gets a new deal. And he wants to be the second highest paid D tackle right underneath Aaron Donald.
Well, Aaron Donald doesn't deserve that after his last year. And he just said he has a lot to prove. That's neither here nor there.
If you've ever watched the Chiefs on TV, you know how important Chris Jones is because he comes right in the quarterback's lap every play.
Is he? He does what?
Space. I meant to say pause.
Oh boy. Are they going to pay him? I guess is the big question there in Kansas City. Are they going to pay Chris Jones, or is Chris Jones going to stay home and watch?
It 100% depends on what his age is. Does anybody know how old Chris Jones is? Because if you do, I'll say whether they're going to pay him or not.
I would usually have my computer screen up, but currently I don't.
The Sauce God.
What Sauce God
says? I bet that basement smells rancid. Good for him. We're in the garage with the door open. So if there was a scent, it would leak out. Guy in the jersey peaked. Dude thinks acting like a bully is still cool.
I'm like a super nice guy, bro.
Back-to-back comments from Sauce God. Love it.
Thank you, Sauce God. I am not a bully at all.
Any relation to Hot Sauce, former and one basketball player?
And or Throw God, TikTok phenomenon.
Throw God is hilarious on TikTok.
It is funny. It is funny.
Chris Jones is 29. No, I do not think he should get a record-breaking deal then, unless it's like one of those like
2
running for back? 22 for 50 or 3 for 75 with 50 guaranteed, that's something like that.
But only 2 years. You can get out of it after 2 years.
Yeah.
41? Yeah.
If you go like 5 years, you're looking at an Albert Hainsworth type situation.
Oh, jeez. You brought that up. Ouch.
Sauce God is not stopping. He said dudes are inhaling methane gas in the garage.
I love Sauce God. He's my favorite.
I'm going to be honest. My favorite is always simple when somebody says, like, who's bottom? That is the simplest, best joke you can ever throw.
Or this one. I saw the one at the bottom. That's one of my other favorites.
I don't get that one. And a lot of times people say that and they're serious, and that's the wildest part. Like, what do you think this is? Like a damn. That was about to be a banger, and I forgot the guy's name.
He forgot the joke.
We're not filming a Tyler Childers video here.
Oh, my goodness. All right. You got anything else football related?
No.
I do have to say that Justin Gaethje tried to kick Dustin Poirier's head off of his shoulders last night. Did you see the replay? I know you didn't watch it live.
I did not watch it live. I saw the replay. Amazing that Poirier would let himself get caught like that. But the coolest thing of the whole night was Derek Lewis's flying knee.
Oh yeah, that was how too.
Amazing.
Not to be outdone. Gaethje tried to actually decapitate Dustin, and he's the baddest motherfucker. Obviously, the matchup is 1-1 though, so you know there's going to be a trilogy. There's going to be another rubber match. Gaethje, Poirier. We'll just be waiting.
You would think that, but we've been waiting like 10 years now for Conor and Nate Diaz 3.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
No.
I don't even. Oh, okay, I say that. I would watch it. I don't want to watch it, but I will watch it.
Somebody said earlier, and I thought it was hilarious. Somebody said Connor hasn't won a fight since Obama was president.
Is that true?
I think he won one when Trump was there, but like it's been how long has it been since he knocked out Cowboy? That was the last time he won a fight.
That was barely a real fight. That was taking advantage of it. He might as well have roofied Cowboy and then beat the hell out of him.
What's going on in Alaska?
Alaska, Northern Lights. Have you seen them? It's the only thing I ever think about Alaska.
You guys sound like you're from the Northeast. That is way off.
Northeast? We're actually from the Southeast. I feel like we don't sound Northeastern at all, though.
We got Russ Galoob coming up with a Chicago Bears salary cap update. Love to see it. If anyone has spare defensive linemen, the Chicago Bears would love to talk to you.
$33 million in their pocket, ready to stroke a check at any moment.
I got a great question. Who's your second favorite NFL team? You got to have one because your son has the second favorite team and your third favorite team. Not this son, the other son.
Not this one.
Now that Tom's gone, we're very interested to see which bandwagon
What's his lineup
now.
What's Grant's lineup?
I'm thinking he's starting.
Mitch's 3-team lineup has got to be.
I'm guessing
Jags is one.
Going forward, he's going to start pulling for the Chiefs or the Chargers. 100%.
He said Jags and Chargers are on the block. I know that. I don't think he said Chiefs.
He said he had a Chiefs jersey growing up, so it would be fair.
So Jags, Chiefs, and Chargers. Big surprise. There will be late cuts. What?
Somebody said who you got for the Max Holloway fight, not someone. Username Ben Teal. I don't even know who Max Holloway's fighting.
That's fair, yeah. I don't know who he's fighting.
He doesn't move the needle for me, so I don't really pay attention to Max Holloway. Who is he fighting?
Cowgirl fans? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I think everyone's interested in seeing what Aaron Rodgers does in New York, coming from Air Rick. I mean, it's going to be primetime TV.
100%. You can watch a lot. I do think the Cowboys will have a good season. I also like, when we're live, I usually like rebuke my fandom a little bit. Yeah. Not completely, but I try. We don't come on here just to talk about our teams. I try to be objective about literally everything. DP does it very well. I'm not a fan of anyone. Mm-hmm. I watch sports. I want the stories. I want to be able to talk about stuff. Mm-hmm. Totally understand that. Now, if we're hanging out and drinking beers, like at a bar somewhere, I'll talk to you about the Steelers all day. Actually, I'd rather talk to you about the Cubs. There's more to talk about. The Steelers, everyone's shitting on the Steelers right now. It actually just pisses me off. It makes no sense to me, but that's fine. Underrate them. Underrate them this year.
And I actually think I'm a Las Vegas Raiders fan, like diehard, 30 years. I think we're going to be bottom 5 teams in the entire NFL.
Yeah, so how exciting would any of that be?
So,
do you want to hear about the Steelers and the Raiders?
Yeah.
No, you don't. There's outlets where they talk about specific teams. This show was born out of being pissed off about hearing about the same exact team every single day.
Justin Evans said, will Josh Allen ever win a Super Bowl?
I would say it's a real possibility. I mean, that's a hard thing to guarantee, but he's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. Absolutely. What? You don't think he'll win one? I didn't say he'll win one. I said it's a possibility.
I think he will. The amount of,
I hate it when you have to answer the will this guy win a Super Bowl? Will this guy win another Super Bowl? Those two questions are like, maybe. I don't freaking know. That's 1 in 32. And the Chiefs are like, 50-50. So who knows? Chiefs repeat? I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't see that one.
I don't know. There's something about Josh Allen that I don't like. I can't put my finger on it.
He's hilarious, for one.
He's cool. He's always on Barstool. He's on Bussin' with the Boys. He seems like one of us. It's just like, I feel like...
Except for he's like 6'5", 250.
I feel like a lot of people throwed him, and he has done nothing.
He had the AFC Championship won with 13 seconds to go.
And then Patrick Mahomes just said, I'm way better than you.
Was that the championship or was that divisional? I don't remember. Whatever game that was.
Probably championship.
That game was won, though. There's literally nothing else Josh Allen could have done that game to win. That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
We'll see.
And I keep seeing TikToks come out with Mahomes running onto the field with 13 seconds left, but it's a guy, and it says the caption is when she says, "You better last more than 14 seconds this time," and it turns into him. 13 to go.
I'm just saying, no Super Bowls, no MVPs, no All Pros. You're literally just throwing stats. Like, you have to do something before you get put into like the.
I mean, he's a top 5 QB, no?
That's fine. That's fine. I've just heard some people debate him and Mahomes, and there is no debate.
Yeah, I think we've covered that extensively. I don't think there's a debate at all. Mahomes is by himself way up here.
I mean, I might even take Burrow over Allen. It's close.
It's close.
It's very close.
Definitely close.
Burrow's the more style quarterback I would want. If you're asking that, which one would I want lead my offense? I want Burrow.
But also, like, you're taking either. You're not going to be unhappy if, like, somebody, okay, well, you have to take the other one. Oh, shoot.
If you take away Josh's running, I don't know how effective he would be. He converts so many 3rd and 4th downs with his legs. And you always say, eventually, that's going to go. It's going to go.
He is completing. He's not throwing for 3,000 yards like Lamar Jackson is. He's throwing for 4,500 yards.
I will say the New York Giants head coach tremendously affected that.
New York Giants head coach?
Yeah.
Dabble?
Yeah. Dabble.
Affected what?
Josh Allen's growth from being like a 50% completion guy to being
sorry. Is he going to do the same thing with Danny? Is that going to be harder? Is it harder to get Danny Dimes to be Josh Allen?
Side note, I think it was Shady McCoy that came and said, how does Daniel Jones get $40 million a year when he is a bottom tier NFL quarterback and Saquon Barkley has to beg for a contract when he's a top tier, top 5 NFL running back?
It's a valid point, but quarterbacks get paid and running backs don't. You know that.
There will never.
We also were both in agreement that Daniel Jones' contract should not be what Daniel Jones' contract is.
Never in his life will he be worth $40 million a year.
No.
Never.
No. Is Baker Mayfield worth more than Daniel Jones?
I think Baker Mayfield's one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
I hope he plays well.
So I'd rather have Daniel Jones.
I hope he goes to Tampa and plays well this year because I like Baker, even though he likes to pull his meat behind the Cheesecake Factory. That was Baker, right?
Yep.
What a weird thing to do.
Do you have any clue who Deuce Vaughn is?
Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn is Deuce Vaughn.
Sounded like the pitcher for that Major League movie, Charlie Sheen.
That was Mo Vaughn.
There you go.
Is that Mo Vaughn? No, Mo Vaughn was the first baseman.
Yeah.
That was
I feel like the Indians.
Rick Vaughn.
There you go.
Rick Vaughn. Wild thing.
Wild thing.
Mo Vaughn was the first baseman for the Red Sox. Well, we can put a bow on this thing real quick. In woke news, though, 3 things happened. Brittany Griner is taking a mental health break. The Redskins radio host was fired for calling someone Barbie girl. And the blue-haired lesbian Megan Rapinoe is still playing soccer for the U.S. women's team. Just to wrap that thing up real quick.
And she said, I don't want to pile on to these people. She said I don't know if they're engaged or they're married. Her partner
sure.
Sue Bird, who has career.
Oh, that's the WNBA player. Right?
She averages like 11 points a game for her career. Mm-hmm. She said Sue Bird has had the best career of any athlete in history.
Who Megan Rapinoe did?
Said that about Sue Bird.
Was she even good in the WNBA?
Sue Bird's played in the WNBA for like 15 years, 20 years. She's won a couple championships. Her numbers are so mediocre.
I can't lie. I have no idea what her numbers are.
Larry Bird's daughter, obviously. I just didn't know if she was like the most delusional person ever, or she was saying it out of love, or she was just trying to be a troll.
I love her so much. Anyway, that wraps that up. That was kind of a joke segment, but it is happening, and those are real things.
Joseph said, "You're 40. Calm down." Could have been to me or you. You're closer to 40 though.
I am closer to 40.
So
I'm closer to 40.
Deuce Vaughn was actually a running back that Dallas picked up. He's
Oh, is that the midget? That's the little guy.
Yeah.
5'5".
I saw the film. That is a little guy.
The TikTok actually said a toddler got loose on an NFL field and had him running around with like circus music.
I mean, best case scenario winds up being a.
He is super small.
Who was that Chargers scat back?
Muggsy Bogues.
No. Chargers. Damn. I forgot.
Chargers scat back.
Darren Sproles.
Sproles was 5'6", yeah, so pretty similar.
Best case?
5'6", 5'7".
And it is a real thing that linebackers and defensive linemen can't see them in the backfield. So, like, by the time they get to them.
Have you ever chased around a freaking kid?
I don't want to.
It's impossible to catch him. Jeez. Anyway, real quick, let's get our pitch out there. We're 3rd and 48. This is the 3rd and 48 podcast. I'm Galoob. He's Tommy. Thomas the Lefty on TikTok. You're over here. I'm Galoob QB1 on TikTok. I'm not rolling right now. Follow us on YouTube, 3rd and 48 podcast. Spotify with 3rd and 48 podcast. Facebook, Amazon Pods, Apple Pods. Check them all out. Follow. Check our stuff out. Send us pics. Send us videos. Send us comments. All the things. Do them all.
If you message us on any platform about something you want us to talk about, we'll make sure we get it into the next show.
100% will. You got a segment idea, something you want to see, a game you want us to play. What happened?
Hate speech.
What?
Hate speech.
There wasn't any hate speech. We just got banned from TikTok for hate speech.
Cool.
I'm not sure why. Anyway, we're wrapping up as it is. Hopefully, we'll only be banned for 2-day minimum.
We're not allowed to say Megan Rapinoe is delusional.
I actually didn't say anything bad at all.
Well, you did say she has purple hair. That has connotations these days.
But that's not hate speech. She literally has blue hair. Oh, my God.
You're not allowed to say facts.
And she is, in fact, married to Sue Bird, and she is, in fact, delusional.
Sue Bird is the best athlete in the history of athletes.
Oh, my goodness. With that being said, let's wrap this thing up. This will be live on Spotify in a few hours. If you didn't catch the whole show, you can check it out on YouTube. It'll be posted on Spotify in the next hour or so. A lot of things coming up. We'll be at Tobacco Road. We'll give you a full breakdown of the golf course. I'm headed to Canton, Ohio to see the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and we are going to a Virginia Tech Hokies game on the way back. Can't wait to see Enter Sandman in the stadium rocking. It looks awesome. I'm psyched.
Sue Bird would beat up Bo Jackson in his prime in a street fight. So there you have it.
See you guys next time.
Later. What a show.
How are we banned? Banned again. The notorious Galoob and Tommy. See y'all later. What in the world?